What if everything you thought you knew about Mary Magdalene was wrong? For centuries, she's been portrayed as a repentant sinner, but ancient texts tell a different story. Join us as we unravel the mystery of Mary Magdalene, uncovering evidence that suggests she may have been Jesus' closest disciple and a spiritual leader in her own right. Prepare to question long-held beliefs and discover a hidden truth that could change your understanding of early Christianity. Who was the woman history tried to erase? For centuries, Mary Magdalene has been painted as a repentant sinner, a fallen woman redeemed by Jesus' grace. This image has become so ingrained in our cultural consciousness that many accept it without question. But what if this portrayal is nothing more than a medieval myth? When we look closely at the biblical texts, a startling truth emerges. There's no evidence to support the idea of Mary Magdalene as a reformed sinful woman. The Gospels never describe her past or suggest she lived a life of moral failing. So where did this mischaracterization come from? The roots of this misconception lie in medieval interpretations, where Mary Magdalene's identity became fused with other biblical figures. Church leaders, perhaps uncomfortable with the idea of a woman in a position of spiritual authority, found it easier to cast her as a redeemed sinner. This narrative served to keep her in a lower position, rather than acknowledging her as a respected spiritual leader in her own right. But what do the canonical Gospels actually tell us about Mary Magdalene? Far from being a marginal figure, she appears at crucial moments in Jesus' life and ministry. Luke's Gospel mentions that she was one of several women who provided for Jesus and his disciples out of their resources. This suggests Mary possessed a strong social position or financial independence, quite exceptional for a woman of her time. We find Mary present at the foot of the cross when many others had fled, demonstrating remarkable courage and loyalty. And in all four Gospels, she plays a pivotal role as a witness to the resurrection, a fact that takes on even greater significance when we consider the cultural context of the time. As we peel back layers of misinterpretation, a new image of Mary Magdalene begins to emerge. She wasn't just a follower of Jesus, but a key figure in the early Christian movement. Her presence at pivotal moments hints at a deeper connection, a unique understanding that set her apart. But if Mary Magdalene wasn't the repentant sinner of popular imagination, who was she really? What role did she play in Jesus' inner circle? And why has her true identity been obscured for so long? To answer these questions, we need to look beyond the familiar stories and explore evidence that has long been overlooked or suppressed. In the depths of despair, when all hope seemed lost, one person's unwavering loyalty was about to be rewarded with a sight beyond imagination. But why would Jesus choose this particular follower for such a monumental revelation? The answer lies in a relationship that has been misunderstood for centuries. Picture the scene: Jerusalem, a city in turmoil, the air thick with grief and fear as Jesus, the man many believed to be the Messiah, hung lifeless on the cross. His disciples, once so certain of their path, now scattered and hiding. But not all had abandoned him. There, at the foot of the cross, stood Mary Magdalene, her heart breaking, but her resolve unshaken. This act of courage, staying by Jesus' side when others fled, speaks volumes about Mary's character and her connection to the teacher she followed. But it was what happened next that would forever cement her place in history. As the first light of dawn broke over Jerusalem, Mary made her way to the tomb, expecting to find Jesus' body. Instead, she encountered something that would change the course of history: the risen Christ. In that moment, Mary Magdalene became the first witness to the resurrection, the cornerstone of Christian faith. But why Mary? In the cultural context of the first century Judea, women's testimonies were often undervalued, with legal frameworks typically favoring male witnesses. For Jesus to choose Mary as the bearer of this world-changing news was nothing short of revolutionary. It challenged the very foundations of a society that routinely dismissed women's voices. The Gospel of John records a profound interaction between Mary and the resurrected Jesus. He says to her, "Do not touch me," a phrase that has sparked centuries of interpretation. This moment emphasizes the deep spiritual connection between Mary and Jesus, suggesting she was entrusted with a significant message that transcended the physical realm. Mary's role as the first witness to the resurrection is more than just a historical footnote. It symbolizes a deeper spiritual truth about the nature of faith and witness in early Christianity. Her experience challenges the patriarchal structures that sought to limit women's roles in religious contexts, hinting at a more inclusive vision of spiritual leadership. But as groundbreaking as Mary's role as the first witness was, it only scratches the surface of her true significance. What other secrets might Mary have known? What teachings might she have received that went unrecorded in the official narratives? To uncover these truths, we must dig deeper into the hidden history of early Christianity. The official narratives only tell part of Mary Magdalene's story, but what if there were texts that painted a radically different picture? In 1896, a discovery was made that would shake the foundations of traditional Christian understanding. What secrets did these ancient pages hold about the woman closest to Jesus? The Gospel of Mary, unearthed after centuries of obscurity, presents a vision of Mary Magdalene that stands in stark contrast to her portrayal in the canonical Gospels. Here we find not just a follower of Jesus, but a spiritual leader in her own right, possessing unique insights and teachings that set her apart from the other disciples. Imagine a Mary who recounts visions received directly from Jesus, detailing complex spiritual paths and stages of soul elevation. This isn't the Mary we've come to know through traditional teachings. In the Gnostic texts, she emerges as an enlightened disciple who grasped the very essence of Jesus' teachings, understanding divine mysteries that eluded others. The Gospel of Philip goes even further, describing Mary as Jesus' companion, hinting at a profound spiritual relationship that transcended conventional roles. Could Mary have been more than just a disciple? Was she perhaps a co-creator of early Christian thought, shaping the movement's spiritual direction alongside Jesus? This Gnostic Mary isn't merely a passive recipient of wisdom, but a beacon of divine knowledge herself. Some traditions even view her as a representation of Sophia, the embodiment of divine wisdom. In this light, Mary becomes a guide, leading others towards self-knowledge and spiritual awakening. The Gospel of Mary paints a vivid picture of her leadership qualities. We see her calming and guiding the other disciples after Jesus' departure, demonstrating a deep understanding of his teachings that allowed her to step into a pivotal role when others faltered. As we uncover these hidden facets of Mary Magdalene, we're left with burning questions. What profound truths might she have known that others didn't? How might her unique spiritual insights reshape our understanding of early Christianity? And perhaps most intriguingly, why has this version of Mary been suppressed for so long? The Gnostic Mary invites us to reevaluate everything we thought we knew about early Christian history. She challenges us to consider a version of Christianity where women weren't just followers, but revered spiritual leaders in their own right. But if Mary truly held such a significant role, why don't we hear more about her in mainstream Christian teachings? Imagine a title so powerful it could rewrite our understanding of early Christian leadership. Apostle to the Apostles, a designation that speaks of unparalleled trust and closeness to Jesus himself. This title, often overlooked in mainstream teachings, holds the key to unlocking Mary Magdalene's true role in the early Christian movement. The concept of apostle to the apostles has its roots in the early Christian tradition, acknowledging Mary's unique position as the first to witness the resurrection and share this news with the other disciples. But this title suggests far more than just being a messenger. It implies a level of spiritual authority and understanding that set Mary apart from her peers. Yet as we trace the development of Orthodox Christian tradition, we find Mary's role diminished, her voice muted. How did the woman who bore the title Apostle to the Apostles become sidelined in the very movement she helped to birth? This stark contrast between Mary's elevated status in some early traditions and her diminished role in others points to a complex struggle for spiritual authority in the early church. Evidence from various early Christian texts paints a picture of Mary as a leader among the disciples, one whose spiritual insights were both revered and contested. The Gospel of Mary, for instance, depicts her as a source of comfort and guidance for the other disciples after Jesus' departure. Her words carry weight, suggesting a level of authority that went beyond that of a mere follower. But this leadership role didn't go unchallenged. In the same text, we see tension between Mary and Peter, a conflict that may reflect broader disagreements about spiritual authority in the early Christian community. Peter questions Mary's claim to special revelation from Jesus, asking, did he really speak privately with a woman and not openly to us? Are we to turn about and all listen to her? Did he prefer her to us? This exchange hints at a deeper truth. What if Mary was more than just equal to the other apostles? What if her connection to Jesus and her understanding of his teachings surpassed even that of Peter, traditionally viewed as the rock upon which the church was built? As we piece together the evidence, a startling possibility emerges. Mary Magdalene may have been Jesus' closest disciple, the one who truly grasped the depth of his spiritual message. This realization forces us to reconsider not just Mary's role, but the very foundations of Christian leadership and spiritual authority. The implications of this revelation are profound, challenging us to rethink centuries of religious tradition and inviting us to explore a more inclusive vision of spiritual leadership. What other truths might we uncover if we dare to look beyond the conventional narratives? Our journey through the hidden truths of Mary Magdalene's life has led us from misunderstood sinner to potential closest disciple of Jesus. We've peeled back layers of misconception, uncovering a woman of profound spiritual insight and leadership. This revelation invites us to reconsider not just Mary's role, but the very foundations of spiritual authority and women's leadership in religious traditions. What if we approached our spiritual text with fresh eyes, questioning long-held assumptions? Mary Magdalene's story challenges us to seek deeper understanding, to look beyond surface-level interpretations. It reminds us that true wisdom often lies hidden, waiting for those willing to explore the forgotten corners of history and tradition. As we reflect on Mary's journey, we're called to examine our own spiritual paths. What hidden truths might we uncover in our own traditions? How might embracing a more inclusive vision of spiritual leadership transform our communities and our world? The legacy of Mary Magdalene beckons us to open our minds and hearts, to seek wisdom wherever it may be found, regardless of gender or societal expectations. Thank you for joining us on this journey into forgotten wisdom. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more insights into uncovering hidden truths. Stay curious, keep seeking the truth, and remember, an open mind is the key to unlocking life's greatest mysteries. See you in the next video.